and let us all do we can to build a better future.
I'm going to move on to our friends at Amazon.
Oh, Amazon, everyone. Let's hear what they're going to do this time.
Well, in addition to their media attention-seeking stunt that detracts from the fact that they allowed 6 of their workers to die and several others are traumatized and disabled, they recently settled a Department of Justice fraud suit. So what happened is, as you may know, Amazon's really getting into healthcare. In fact, a lot of major companies are getting their fingers into healthcare, and they had acquired a company called PillPack, which was supposed to be like an online pharmacy, would get all of your pills together and send them to you, or all of your medications. Apparently, the PillPack was essentially was dispensing insulin pens to patients using full cartons. They would dispense and bill for the full carton, and then they would underreport the days of supply to make it appear that the dispensing did not violate Medicare and Medicaid's limits. So PillPack is going to pay $5.6 million to the U.S. Government and $175,000 plus to state governments under these terms of this settlement. So what they're saying is that they didn't shortchange the consumer, but they were not even bothering to obey the regulations that Medicare and Medicaid have set down. This shows you, I'm sure Amazon can say, well, this was a recent acquisition. They did demote the guys from PillPack within their company. But again, they didn't even have control over this situation. And this was continuing to happen. When the government regulations are right there. I think there's software that can prevent this from happening. Again, this is our heroes at Amazon.
Hooray.
They'll pay for you to travel out of state to get an abortion. They just won't pay you a living wage or allow you to seek safety and refuge in a safe room. And they'll try to interfere with your ability to unionize.
All right. So again, this is something that was associated with Amazon, and they settled that insulin overcharge case. So again, this is happening under Amazon's watch. And what more can be said about Amazon that hasn't already been said? I'm willing to bet that there was someone from Amazon.
But they're pro-choice, you see, yeah. And that's okay. That makes everything okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't believe a single goddamn thing from Amazon, and no.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We've talked about food deserts a lot on this show. Mm-hmm. And if you're not familiar with the concept, in a food desert, what you have is a town or an area or a city or a neighborhood where there is no full service grocery store selling fresh produce, fresh meat, as well as other pantry goods, and that is within walking distance of most people in that community. In fact, in some areas, your only option are small corner stores that will have a very limited selection, possibly even high prices, or you would have to take multiple public transportation options to get to a local store. If you don't have a car, you're going to have to figure out how to shop so that you can carry the groceries back, which is not always very convenient. Well, what I didn't realize about this, and I always thought this was a matter of economics, it is a matter of economics, but far more insidious. So The Counter, which is a great publication that I recently discovered, is that what can happen is major supermarkets and major retailers can actually use covenants, real estate covenants, to keep out competitors. Right. So what can happen, and these can last for years, if not indefinitely. So what they can do is you have a large store that can move into an area, and they can say, okay, we will take over this space here, but we're going to put a covenant in here. We're going to put a clause that says that if we leave here, no other grocery store can move into this space.
Wow.
And in some cases, they can even restrict areas around them. And they can actually will buy up property or land, or they'll take over a strip mall or something like that. And they say, well, then no other grocery store can move in here, even if they move out. So this can actually hold communities hostage, Kit.
Okay, there's one thing I got to bring up then, because there was that Whole Foods that was, again, built in Inglewood. Was there a contract like that too for them?
I don't know that, and I don't know about that. It's an interesting story because there have been places that have been shutting down their stores around for a while now, and it's been happening a little bit. They recently, I want to say, lost an Aldi, but I think they put a coat. That may have been was that in Inglewood or was that in Austin?
Well, by the way, Inglewood and Austin are two communities in the city of Chicago, just for our audience members to know.
And the thing with Inglewood in particular, it is a struggling community, and they brought in and often very underserved. It was the victim of redlining. And for those of you who aren't aware, when we talk about these underdeveloped or these underperforming communities, oftentimes they were, and particularly in Chicago, were the victims of explicitly racist policies that prevented investment in those communities, that prevented people from being able to purchase affordable housing. So when Whole Foods went into Englewood, that was a big deal. People wanted to be able to, buy fresh and organic food, grab a glass of wine while they shop, that sort of thing. And people were excited about it, but now that store is being closed down by Whole Foods. And they've closed down, I want to say, 6 stores nationwide, and that is one of them. But what's really concerning me is, okay, now you're going to have to start going through all of these leases, all of these purchase agreements. And can we, go through and say, okay, who put the covenant here? Who's holding people to this covenant? And what do we need to do to get rid of it? Because this isn't just about protecting yourself against unfair competition. I can understand, for example, that if you're running a lingerie store and you go into a shopping mall, you can put in something saying, well, there won't be any other lingerie stores that open up within 10 stores of us or something like that. This is about groceries. This is basic human needs here. We're talking about things like infant formula. And food, and we're talking about over-the-counter drugs and toilet paper and cleaning supplies, the things that people need to live. And you have these stores that are supposed to be serving the consumer, that are actually restricting consumer choice. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, they're actually restricting people from being able to walk to a grocery store in their community, because if we don't want to be there anymore, guess what? Nobody else gets to be there too. And who might benefit from this sort of arrangement? Oh, maybe real estate developers who eventually want to go in there and snag property at rock bottom prices and either become slumlords or gentrify a neighborhood. This is so upsetting. You can check it out in the show notes, folks.
I'll also add in something else here too, especially what our viewing audience may or may not know about Inglewood, and that's also the same area where Barack Obama is building his so fantastic, so wonderful presidential library on public lands, by the way. Public land.